Hi, thanks very much for clicking on my LinkedIn profile or Facebook profile or Twitter profile or whatever platform you're on. I appreciate you joining me for Marketing Monday for mediators and arbitrators. Every Monday morning, live, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. I talk directly to you and with you, if you put your comments in the chat, about how to market and promote your ADR practice. And today I want to talk to you about the 16 top website mistakes to avoid and the 16 easy fixes. And this list is based on an article from 2010. It has since been updated, but originally from 2010, and it was posted on the HubSpot blog. So if you're a business person and an entrepreneur and you have yet to subscribe to HubSpot, I highly recommend it. They have tons and tons and tons of really relevant articles in their blog about social media marketing, websites, print materials, promotional items, all kinds of really intelligent pieces. So for business people and entrepreneurs, this is something that you should subscribe to, HubSpot blog. You can Google it and get there. So I want to talk today about the fact that, this is the end of 2021. We all absolutely positively, no doubt about it, must have a website. And this is kind of the list of things that are most commonly, dropped, or this is where errors are made, or these are this is the list of things that could be done a little bit better. And as I go through the list, I know that you'll recognize and see some of these things, hopefully not from your own website, but from websites that you have visited. So we'll get started on our list. The first thing I want to say is that originally this article was written by a journalist, a writer whose name I can't possibly begin to pronounce, and I apologize to Haris Krijistorak. Oh my gosh, I've just butchered that horribly, and I apologize to you. But let's go into the article, and hopefully I haven't hurt Haris's feelings too badly. So we know that about 86% of our consumers rely on the internet to find local ADR businesses. So obviously having a website is a no-brainer. It just is. You have to have one. So what you want to do is avoid making these most common mistakes. And the first one is, it seems really simple, but it really is important, and that is having lengthy page titles. The page title is what tells visitors what that page is about. So for most of us, that's going to be our home pages. So when you open your website and look at your home page title, what you're looking for is a title that is not too long. And the reason being that for optimizing your search engine optimization, your SEO, you want to have a concise page title because that's what yields the best reader experience. If your page title is too long, it will dilute the importance of each term in the title, and might even prevent you from ranking well on search engine results, SERP, search engine results page. So the best practice is to keep your page title under 70 characters so that the reader can see the entire title and make a decision to click through the post. And you know that you've seen this because when you do a Google search for something and it comes up with the page title, and then because the page title is so long, it just puts ... right? And so you can't really see what the whole thing is about. And it leads you on this kind of frustrating goose chase. Am I on the right page? Am I not on the right page? And you click and click and click. So be sure that your home page, in particular, your page title is fewer than 70 characters so that it can be read in its entirety and people know that your page is the right page for them. All right, so that was number one. The fix, whoops, I went too fast. The fix for this is to use a headline analyzer tool. And it's entirely possible you didn't even know that this thing exists, but you can look for a product called CoSchedule. And CoSchedule has a headline analyzer. And you can draft concise keyword-rich descriptions of your page, and it will give you back the score of your page. And what you're looking for when if you use like a co-schedule headline analyzer, you're looking for a score of 70% or higher. So something to think about, but keeping your page title 70 characters or fewer, that should get you much closer. All right. Number 2 is long meta descriptions on your website. Now, if you have designed your own site, this is something that you need to fix. If you've hired a website designer, this is something that they need to fix. It's not necessarily for everybody, this kind of tech talk, but if you've done your own site, this is something you need to be aware of. And having a long meta description. The meta descriptions they're really essential for drawing in visitors from your search. The meta description is the text under the page title in the search results. So when you search mediator in Paris, it will come up with the title of the page, and then it will give you that brief description. And you know, and I know that when those meta descriptions are not clear, you end up clicking to a site that's not quite right. You click back out, you go back to the search engine, to the results page, you click, you try. Make it easy for your readers and have really clear, concise meta descriptions. The easiest way to do that is to use something like Word Counter. That's an app that you can use, or SERP Simulator. And the SERP Simulator will count the number of characters in your meta descriptions so that you don't go over the limit and lead people round and round and round. This is number 3, keyword stuffing. It isn't happening so often anymore. It used to be a real problem. And so one of the requests that I get now is a mediator or an arbitrator saying, 10 years ago, this was the trend, but now it's just not a big thing, and it's weird and it's horrible and it's awful, and I don't like the way it reads and I don't like the way it looks, and keyword stuffing. And so they're always asking, can you build me a new website? Can you remodel my website? And the answer, of course, is yes. It's easy to do, and I'm always happy to do it. But it might just be as easy as you rewriting some of your content. It might not be that you need an entirely new website. Just rewrite some of the content. And a lot of people make a mistake of stuffing their page title with keywords or targeting unrealistic keywords. So, it's a futile effort if a new website, in the mediation space is trying to rank for a keyword like, mediation or mediator or mediation training. That's a futile attempt. But sometimes the keywords that can attract more traffic are more specific. So Houston mediator, Houston mediation, mediator in Houston, those kinds of things. But what you want to avoid is that really artificial sounding content. It should be natural. It should flow. From a user standpoint, using too many keywords in your content just creates a bad experience. It makes it hard to read your website, and they're likely to just click back and move on to the next person. So for search engines, Google Search Central mentions that keyword stuffing can actually harm your site's rankings. So you do want to avoid that. And to be able to fix this, conduct some proper keyword research and really find out what it is that people are searching as it applies to your practice. So you want to start by creating a list of all of the relevant terms used to describe your practice. And then you can break these terms up into content or sort of topic buckets. So for example, you might want to have topic buckets like facilitative, evaluative, mediation blog, ADR blog, labor arbitration, right? Some examples there. And then the next step would be to fill these broader topic buckets with keyword phrases that your prospective clients might use when searching for your kind of practice. So, and then aside from the Google Analytics, you can always use SEO and keyword research tools like SEM Rush. So that's a good one. So let's see, number 4. Number 4 is, it's a funny word, I understand it's a bit weird, but it's called keyword cannibalization. And keyword cannibalization is when 2 or more pages of your website are targeting the same keyword. And excuse me, the problem with keyword cannibalization is that your web pages targeting the same keyword would be competing against each other on the search engine results page. And this, again, can result in a low click-through rate and cause a decrease in the value of each one of your pages. So each page on your website is a new opportunity to get found online. You don't want to waste all of these opportunities by reusing keywords. So it's better to have one page that talks about mediation, one page that talks about arbitration, one page that talks about mediation as a blog, whatever it is. So break up each page so that it's specific and different than the other pages. You can, as a fix, try the pillar cluster model. You can use tools like SEO Scout, Cannibalization Checker, or you can use Moz, M-O-Z, Keyword Explorer. Those are 2 really good tools, and they can really easily identify pages that are competing for the same keywords on your website. And then once you've identified those pages, then you can try this pillar cluster model to reorganize your website. And the pillar cluster model, again, it involves grouping related blog posts into specific topic areas instead of long tail keywords. It's a model, the individual blog posts link back to the pillar page, and then they share hyperlinks. All right. Number 5 is no image alternate text. And this is, so for example, when you upload an image on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you need to type in the alternate text, the image alternate text. And what it's talking about there is the idea that search engines can't read an image, right? So instead, they're scanning for text. And if you use the alt tag, then you can associate this alternate text with the image. So about 33% of Google's search results now show an image pack, or a little snippet display of the horizontal rows of image links, right? You're familiar with this, and they appear with any organic, position. And so you're losing out on a ton of traffic, if you don't put in the alt text on your website images. The alt text really helps you make your content accessible to users, and it improves the overall user experience, in addition to helping you get better traffic on your site through search engine optimization results. So you want to add alt text to all of your images. So for every image that's on your website, when you click it, you should have a settings dial. And when you open that settings, it will give you the option to put in the alternate or the alt text. And the alt text, let me see if I can think of the best way to say this. The alt text that you type needs to be in sentence format. So for example, if you post about what a great mediator your dog has been all month long, you don't just put in mediator and dog. You want to type out the description of what the image is. What is the complete sentence that best describes this image? So instead you would type, my dog, comma, the world's greatest mediator, comma, hard at work handling employment and labor law cases, right? So it's a complete and full sentence for all of your images. Mistake number 6, mistake number 6 is too little or too much text, and it can go one extreme or the other. So search engines read text better than they read anything else. So it is important to have text on your website. Now, knowing this, some people push as much text as they possibly can into a page, and as a result, the search engines really struggle to extract or to find the truly relevant text in all that mess. The same is true if you don't have enough text. It's searching and searching and searching for the relevant keyword terms, but you haven't given it enough text to search through, and so therefore your site doesn't come up in the results. So to fix this, you want to focus, like I said before, focus the page on one topic and then cover that topic A to Z. You want to make sure that your page is readable, it contains the keywords that you're targeting, but that you don't add a bunch of unimportant text just to hit a specific word count or to make your web designer happy when that person is telling you that keyword stuffing is a good idea, because it's not. All right, moving on to number 7. Number 7 is, I know it's a geeky kind of a thing, but you really do need to use analytics. And one of the big mistakes that I see a lot of people make is not using available analytics. So even after you've created this fantastic looking website and you've got all the text and you've optimized and you've converted traffic and on and on and on it goes, not looking at what those analytics are can be a major mistake. Web analytics, goodness, let's take a drink of something hot and warm here. That'll help everybody out. Web analytics are essential because they really help you better understand your visitors, your readers, and how they interact with your site. And without proper tracking, you will not be able to tell what pages on your website get the most or the least traffic, which devices visitors are using to access your site, where they're from, so on and so forth. Analytics, first, I think they're fun to look at, but they are really, really important. And without these kinds of metrics, you're just sort of left in the dark, stumbling around trying to figure out how to make a decision that will affect your website and your visitors' interaction with your site. And that's not good. We really want to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, for whom. We want to know what our readers and our viewers like and what they don't like. This is important information. And so in my opinion, the easiest fix is to use a web analytics tool like Google Analytics. It will help you track all of the metrics that you need. Google Analytics, it's my go-to. All right, number 8 for mistakes is slow load time. Nobody likes waiting in a queue, especially not when they've got other options to choose from. So you can imagine that it's exactly the same for visitors to your website. They're just not going to wait around if your website takes forever to load when they could so easily just go to somebody else's website and get the information that they need from somebody else. So if your website loads slowly, it could be because your hosting is insufficient, or you've got really large images spread across your site. Maybe you've got too many redirects, or you've installed too many unnecessary plugins. So to start 2022, we're going to want to go through all of this list, but this one is really important to go through and with a critical eye, look to be sure that you don't have too many large images, you don't have too many redirects, or that you've, just for fun installed a bunch of unnecessary plugins. Now's a really good time to delete all of those and do a little housekeeping. And the easiest fix to increase your website loading speed is you can use some really simple tools like Page Speed Insights. You can check your website speed there. And then you can go through all of their recommendations to improve your website speed. Generally, they recommend that you choose a web hosting platform that is designed for speed, that you compress your images, that you embed videos instead of uploading them directly to the site. So providing like the YouTube channel video link as opposed to uploading the video right on your website page makes a big difference. You want to reduce redirects. That's where you give someone a resource that sends them off of your page. We want to reduce those as best we can. We want to enable cache browsing. We want to leverage content delivery networks, the CDN. You'll see that in your systems, CDN, content delivery network. And then, like I said before, uninstall any unnecessary plugins. All right, we are all the way up to number 9, moving through it. Number 9 on our list of website mistakes and their fixes is an unresponsive website. And this happens more often than you think. Mobile devices now account for about 60% of global website traffic. Yes, even in our industry. So since most people use their handheld device to access the internet, it is in your best interest to make sure that your website is responsive on mobile screens. And unfortunately, a lot of website owners make a mistake of only optimizing their website for desktop devices, and that you leave out 60% of your possible audience and traffic to your website. An easy fix on WordPress, Squarespace, and the like is you just click on the single button that is, quote, optimize your website for mobile, unquote. That's the easiest thing to do. And you should be able to, on either one of those platforms, view your site on a mobile device, on a tablet, or on a desktop. And it should give you all three of those versions. The same for your directed email marketing. It should be optimized for all three of those kinds of devices. If you don't know how to do that, give me a call and I'll walk you through it. That's the easiest thing to do. You can do a Google Search Console. It's kind of a neat feature, and it lets you test how mobile friendly your website is. Of course, the other easy thing to do is simply open your own smartphone, or have your kids open theirs or your neighbor open theirs, and look at your site from someone else's device and see what it looks like and how does it play. It is not going to be perfect on every one of those devices. It's likely there will be some little twitchy thing on each of those three, but you really can optimize it for all three of those. All right, number 10 is poor internal linking. Links are really essential for improving the website authority on search engine, but a lot of website owners make a mistake of either having too many or too few links. If there are too many links on your page, it can become distracting. And the too few could make the article that you've written for your blog or your web page look a little anemic or less authoritative. So another poor linking mistake is when you don't use anchor text for the internal links. You've likely come across websites with a click here or some other generic text. And think about it. Did you click it? Probably not. So the fix is to create an internal link structure. And you can do that with a tool like SEMrush, mentioned it earlier, but SEMrush, and you can run a site audit to identify the internal linking opportunities all across your website. You can also create a link structure that helps you naturally sort of include internal links to the existing content whenever you're creating new blog posts or a new web page. But keep in mind that as much as you want to build internal links between your web pages, don't go around linking to everything just for the sake of it. Instead, really emphasize the link quality over quantity. And then, of course, finally, use relevant keywords in the anchor text for your internal links to help the search engine infer a relationship between your posts. All right, number 11 is poor website security. And this one can be challenging. So for those of us who are looking for clients not in our sort of area. So for me, I have to have a site that's secure in Europe and a site that's secure in the Americas all at the same time, and it can create a little bit of challenge. But having poor website security is a big mistake. Especially for those of us who take payment online, it makes our visitors uncomfortable to see that our site is not secure. It just doesn't look professional to have an insecure website. And there's been a lot of problems recently with personal data breaches and website hacks and all of these things, and they do make it necessary for your website to be secure. So you do want to use browsers like Chrome and Firefox, where they show the little warning, and there's a little photograph below to alert the users that they visited an insecure website. You want to be sure you take care of that. Otherwise, people either can't look at your website, or they will choose to back out and not look at your website. Neither one of those is good. So the fix for this is to enable an SSL certificate. And so it's easy. You can protect your customers. You gain their trust by installing a secure socket layer. That's what SSL stands for, secure socket layer. And all that you need to do is install an SSL certificate on your website. And SSL is a security protocol that creates an encrypted link between your web server and your visitor's browser. I know this is so much fun to talk about, right? But you'll know if your website is protected when you check the URL and to see if it starts with an HTTP or an HTTPS. If it's HTTPS, your site is secure. If not, you need to purchase an SSL certificate from your domain provider or from a site like Let's Encrypt and get the HTTPS on your website. All right, number 12. A lot of us in the resolution industry have various forms on our website. Fill out the form, and get more information, fill out the form and download the thing, whatever it might be. But having forms on your website, that's good. Having lengthy website forms, that can be problematic. Website forms, they really are, crucial for converting what is just traffic on your site to prospective clients. So it is important that it's done right. Most website forms today require a lot of work from visitors to fill out. And these forms might ask for unnecessary information or have several, quote unquote, required fields that look, maybe a little bit pushy or leaving visitors confused or frustrated. And we don't want to do that. So the fix for number 12 is just ask for the essential details. Limit the content of your form to only the information that you really truly need. So for example, you might want to limit any or all of your forms for prospective clients. After they're a client, it's different. But when they're a prospective client, limit the fields on each form to maybe 3 to 5 fields, reducing the number of required fields, and then add help text in the field's default. It's not difficult, but it is one of those things, that we should fix right away, is having really lengthy forms. Number 13, here's another mistake I see frequently, and that is not having a call to action. And, sadly, it's such a common mistake to not have a CTA on your website. That, and again, it's an easy fix, but you've probably spent a lot of time and effort directing people to your website, getting people to your website. I mean, we just spent the last 12 points making sure that your website is, fine-tuned. And then we get all the way here and there's no call to action. You don't want to drop this particular ball because what happens when they arrive on your website? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to read your blog? Do you want them to follow you on your social media platforms? Do you want them to watch your videos on your YouTube channel? What is it that you want for them to do? Be clear, just state what it is. You can just have specific calls to action. And this is the fix for that. If you have buttons that stand out and guide visitors on each page to take the next step, to move them along, to show them the path, then it'll be a lot clearer to them what it is that you offer, how you offer it, is it for them, and they can just follow you on that path, on that journey. So calls to action. Number 14, no search box. Now this is something that some of us don't have, and I'm going to put it in this article or in this this live video as a mistake because it applies to some of us. Some of us have a practice that a search box on our website is really unnecessary because we've got what are called microsites. They're sites that are short. It's not necessary to search them. But some of us have really resource-heavy sites, in which case we want to have those sites searchable. And a search box is just a simple feature that lots of websites that are resource heavy lack. Without a search box, it can be more difficult for visitors to find the specific web page or content that they're looking for on your website. So if you're one of those providers, one of those mediators and arbitrators that has a really deep resource heavy site, think about putting in a search box. And the fix for that, of course, is just create a search box. So if your website has lots of pages, like I said, or it's resource heavy, You can just go to your content management system, your CNS, like on WordPress, it's the CNS page. You go to your CNS and simply place the widget where you'd like your users to see it, and the home page, great place for a search box. Number 15, closing in on the end, and that is that your contact information is hard to find. One of the reasons that we have a website is so that it's easy for people to find us, to connect with us, to communicate with us. And by not having your contact information as the footer or your contact information on every single page in the same location, you don't want to make people search for you. Don't make it hard for them. Make it easy for them. Like I said, just pick the footer or pick one side or the top or a specific contact me page, and help people find you. That really is the whole point. You also want to be sure that you've got the links to your social media platforms, so that if you're on LinkedIn, you've got the little icon, or you've got hypertext that says follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or whatever your platform is, so that people can connect with you. They can follow you, and you can start engaging with them in that way. And then last is number 16, and number 16 is using stock images throughout your website. And I know that it's easy to use stock images, but I would encourage you not to make this mistake, especially when we have sites like Canva, C-A-N-V-A, canva.com. One of my favorite apps ever on the planet is canva.com. So if just using a stock image, it makes it difficult for the search engine to differentiate your site from any other site that's using that same free image. So the stock photos, beyond making it less likely that the search engine will differentiate your website from somebody else's website using those same images, they just don't feel very original. They just don't create the best experience for your visitors. And so, the best way to fix this, the easy way to fix this, is to log on to Canva, canva.com. You've heard me say it a million times. It's one of the best. Log on to Canva. You can get a free subscription or get a paid professional subscription to Canva, and create engaging graphics that really leave a much more lasting and authentic impression with visitors to your site. So those are the 16 most common web mistakes that I see and their fixes. I know that we're headed into 2022, and this needs to be on one of your to-do list line items to fix your website. So use this video, hit pause, hit play, hit pause, hit play, but go through each one of these 16 points one by one on your website. Again, use a critical eye and make these fixes. If you have any problems, any questions, any concerns, absolutely reach out, let me know, or put a comment below and let me know what I can help you with. And that's it for me. Thanks very much for joining me for Marketing Monday for mediators and arbitrators. As always, it's a pleasure. Set your reminder for every Monday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and join me right here. I'm happy to answer all of your questions, concerns, and your requests. Thanks very much. See you soon.